Radio. Rahim with Hasim Rahman Jr., London, making yourself a global citizen as usual. We're here with KSI. Obviously, this is a huge stage for him, and it's got to be a little bit annoying to watch this guy put a fight on Saturday night on a stage this big when just maybe a month ago or so, you would have been on a stage of equal notoriety and spotlight where you could have been the first boxer to beat Jake Paul.
It's not annoying, that's to me is I'm just watching it grow. I'm watching it grow. This whole YouTube extravaganza, this whole YouTubers coming into boxing, making a splash is in my opinion, it's a good thing because you got a whole lot of new eyes, and a lot of these new eyes are younger eyes. So it's taking the younger generation and keeping them from picking up guns and picking up gloves, and keeping them from learning about their local gang members to learning about Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence and Canelo and Devin and Shakur. And they want to know about these things because the guys that they're watching on the YouTube are interested in boxing. So it's getting a lot of the youth and the general public involved in boxing. So I'm watching it grow, but definitely was a huge missed opportunity for me to have fought Jake Paul back in August. But I don't think that you lose anything without getting equal or greater. So I think the equal or greater is definitely coming for me. Hence, I'm here in London about to, make some big news and drop some big news about, why exactly I'm here.
Oh, boy, that's a tease. We'll get to that before this interview is over, though. You come from a legacy of world champion boxing. There is something about being born into a household where boxing is the mentality and the lifestyle, having a world champion father. These YouTubers, and I don't mean the guys that are looking up to them, I mean Jake and KSI themselves. What is it that they need to learn about the sport and understand about this culture?
It takes time. It takes time. There's no substitute for experience. It takes time to learn the difference in hooks and to learn how to judge the difference in right hands, and to learn how to judge the difference in a pawn jab and a stiff jab and a shotgun jab. And there's just so many things that you have to actually experience in order to be at the top level of this sport. You can train endlessly, train, but if you're not getting in there and actually doing the fighting, then that's all for null. You actually need the fighting experience, and I'm not talking just about sparring. I'm talking about actually getting in there and actually fighting and competing and going through the weigh-in and going through the day of the fight jitters and going through the week of the fight jitters. Going through all that is a professional experience, and in order to get to the top, you need to do that 20, 30 times. Nowadays, before it was almost 40 times you had to do that before you were ready for a world title. I just think that not so much KSI, but Jake, the way he talks about the sport and the things that he wants to do, it's just he just feels like he can just catapult and just not have to do any of these things that you must do in order to be on a championship level.
Now, KSI is fighting two guys in one night. He's been out of the ring some 1,000 some odd days. Is that wise?
Considering his opponents, yeah. I mean, he fighting Swarmz. Can Swarmz fight? I don't know if Swarmz can even fight. I mean, he's a rapper, so I don't think that's gonna be too hard for KSI. And he wanted to one up Jake Paul, so he'll be fighting a professional boxer before Jake Paul does. And then I honestly believe he wins both these fights by knockout.
What do you think of KSI's skills versus Jake Paul?
I think that I haven't seen him fight in a long time. I haven't seen him fight actually since everybody else, since Logan. And I watched that fight, and he has a lot of bite down, a lot of grit in him, a lot of raw energy. He fights with energy. I think Jake Paul has a bit more skill set. His skill set is a bit more toned, but that was watching Jake Paul be more active in the sport. Now that JJ is active, I would like to see him stay active, and then you can really give a you can see them juxtaposed to each other, and actually give a fair assessment on their skills as one compares to the other. Right now, I would give Jake the edge in skills, but that's only because we've seen a little bit more from Jake. I haven't seen really anything from JJ since he fought Logan. I don't think much of Logan, so.
You were sparring partners. You came as close as you could possibly come without having a fight to being in a super fight. What's your relationship like now with Jake Paul?
Oh, the same as JJ. My mission is to expose him. He's a fake. He's a fraud, a phony. I think that he's got a good portion of the world fooled on who he actually really is, and it would do the world justice and social media justice to expose this clown, and I'm just show the world that he's fake Paul, not Jake Paul.
How are you going to manage to do that?
Well, step one, get him in the ring. So whatever I got to do to get him in the ring, JJ's already said it. He said, and he came out and responded to Jake Paul when he was asking to fight him after he canceled our fight. And he says, well, fight Hasim first. So my mission is to make it to where Hasim Rahman Jr. versus Jake Paul is the fight people want to see. There was a lot of buzz around our fight. So if people see me come in at a weight that is close to whatever Jake wanted, or and against an opponent that is better than Jake, which we're gonna see. I think that once people see what I do with him, they'll be like, oh, Jake, well, fight him, Jake, fight him. And that's how boxing works. I believe in boxing, and I think that when you have big super fights like that, especially ones that fall out at the last minute, people are still gonna hold on to it, and people are still gonna want to see it. So my mission is to still make it happen.
Now, we saw Jake expand his roster to professional fighters. Obviously, Amanda Serrano's benefited greatly from being on the promotion with Jake Paul. Obviously, you have a good relationship with KSI. He's calling out Jake for you. Do you see yourself fighting under KSI's promotion?
I definitely could see that. I mean, he's doing something great for boxing. This is huge, and there's no other professional boxers on the card besides the one he's fighting. So, why wouldn't he? I believe that I'm a great candidate for him to build with, and like I said earlier, me and JJ have the same mission. That's to expose this guy Jake Paul. However long it takes, or however whatever steps we need to take to get there, let's do it. And I feel like I could lay the blueprint for him to go ahead and be the first guy to beat Jake and Logan Paul in professional boxing matches, and then I'll be the second guy to beat Jake and Logan Paul in professional.
Has there been any conversation with you and Jake to that end, or about anything since?
Jake canceled the fight and then told everybody in boxing not to deal with me. So this is our way of punching back at him.
Well, you're saying he blackballed you?
That's what he did. If you watch his story after he canceled the fight, it was saying nobody in boxing should work with Hasim Rahman Jr. and his team. But then he came out with a show the next week saying that my promoter, who is the only other person that he worked with, was a pleasure to work with and was the only person that was professional. But Jake, you never talked to me. You only talked to him. So he always contradicts himself. He's just such a fraud, and I can't wait to be on the side of exposing him.
Has it been difficult for you since then, getting another fight or getting a boxing career back on track?
No, absolutely not. It's been on fire. It's been there's been request after request after request, and fight offer after fight offer. It's been a blessing, actually, and I think that this is the best way to go, especially because that's what I want. I want to get that fight against Jake Paul. So this is someone I can have someone behind me that's actually pushing for that, and that Jake Paul is actually listening to. So to make it happen.
Oh, so you say this is the best way to go?
I mean, to get the Jake Paul fight, yeah. I mean, he wants KSI. KSI says, if you want me, then fight Hasim. And it's as simple as that. And let's go.
Are you training now, staying like on the weight so that you can be down close to 200?
I won't say too much, but my weight hasn't gone over 220. I'll say that. I haven't gone back over 220. I've been under 220 since the weigh-in.
Now, you've seen in heavyweight boxing how size differentials sometimes don't matter. We saw Saturday night a smaller Usyk beat a bigger Joshua. I know you were in Saudi for Joshua Ruiz. When you watched that fight, what were you thinking during the fight?
Which fight? Ruiz or
No, Joshua Usyk.
Usyk, it was a pleasure to watch because Usyk is such a beautiful boxer, and you know he doesn't, the way he fights, it's like he gives you a little bit, and he lets you have that little bit until the very end, and then he takes it from you. It's a beautiful thing to watch. That's just how I see it, and I think that it didn't have to be as close as it was, but it was. It was a good fight, and it's just a testament to how great of a boxer Usyk is. I can't wait to see him fight Tyson Fury. That's going to be a great fight.
You think there was anything Joshua could have done in that fight to win?
I think that if he would have done things differently, Usyk would have done things differently, and I think the outcome would have been the same.
So what, if you were advising or if he called for your opinion, what would you tell Joshua to do next?
I think he should fight, get some fights under his belt. Dillian White, Chisora. I would stay away from, I would stay away from the Wilder fight for right now. And then when he's ready, probably in 2 or 3 fights, I would take the Wilder fight, and then see who has the belts after that, because Tyson, Fury, and Usyk are clearly 1 and 2 right now. So just put yourself in line to be number 3 or number 4, and then when it opens back up, obviously, I don't know if he's interested in fighting for world titles anymore, but you got guys out there like Joe Joyce, you got Michael Hunter, you got Jared Anderson. There's a lot of great fights out there that could happen. Daniel Dubois. You have a lot of great heavyweight fights out there that can happen. And so, like I said, I don't know how much he's interested in fighting for the world titles, but I think that route would be good for him.
Now, you talked about Usyk Fury. That's a fight we all expect to see, at least hope to see. How's that fight go?
Man, Fury is such a big guy. He's such a big guy. I think his size is very underestimated. I don't know how long Usyk can dance the circles around such a big guy who can dance as well. I think Usyk does a lot of good things. I think Tyson Fury does a lot of good things. They're both great fighters, but I just think that the big guy, man, I can't go against the big guy. Tyson Fury is he's enormous, man. He's 6'7", 270, and he moves like a middleweight. It's gonna be hard to beat him because he can. If he can't match Usyk step for step, he'll be right there behind him. He won't be far behind him. And I think that this boxing game, it starts at the feet. And I think that footwork for footwork, Usyk may be better, but not as much better than Fury as he was with Joshua. I just think that Fury's too big.
Well, I got to tell you, you're right. A lot of anticipation of seeing you in the ring again. A lot of people want to see what you bring when you do step through those ropes. So accept one of those offers so we can see what Hasim Rahman Jr. is bringing to the game once again. It's a pleasure to talk to you, man. Good luck with your adventures. And again, if it's Jake Paul, I think we're all there to see it. Now it's an official grudge match. Yes, everybody knows there's bad blood here. Radio Rahim with Hasim Rahman Jr.